All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to episode 11 of the Renegade podcast. Unfortunately, we were supposed to have two more agents on our panel today. Both of them are too busy, which is a good thing for us as a company, but a bad thing as far as content wise for us here today. But fortunately, I have two ballers with me today who are going to spend some time, talk about the industry, the marketplace, more importantly, Renegade, and kind of how all of our paths ended up ending in the same place. So I'm very excited to have Rob Albright and Alvin Brewer with me today. Collectively, you're looking at two gentlemen here that have written tens of millions of dollars in insurance premiums in their careers. So we are very literally looking at 1%. And you've heard me talk about 1% many times in this podcast, or on this podcast rather. And that 1% is a special number or a special individual. We're talking about people who are writing, in this case, Alvin wrote $200,000 in the month of March in new business premium. Set a company record. I love the smile. Set a company record. 70 policies placed, which is a company record in a single month. But 202K, just remarkable. And Rob Albright, our fearless leader here, has written probably over 30 mil. How much? I mean, collectively,
close to 30 million in 10 years.
Close to 30 million in 10 years. Just to put in perspective, who we're talking to today, ladies and gents. Without me just blabbering here, Rob, if you wouldn't mind, start off. Tell us a little bit about kind of your path, how you ended up with Renegade, but where you started and what you've been doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's been quite the path to get here to Renegade, right? Not the prototypical corporate individual on the other side of the camera here. What I am an agent at heart. I'll always be an agent. And I spent the better part of 10 years building both captive and independent agencies, and again, personally written, about $29 million in premium. But always had the itch to go to the corporate side of insurance, and quite personally. More often than not, individuals, not you, Danny, because you come in my office and actually provide insight, but more often than not, people would come into my office trying to explain to me how to do my job, but had never done it. So that was the driving force behind going to the corporate side. And more often than not, individuals, that are successful in this business don't go to the corporate side. I always say, why take the pay cut and deal with the aggravation, right? But from that standpoint, I had a unique opportunity to sell everything, get my family down south where it's a little warmer and a lot less taxes to pay. Come down to Charleston, South Carolina, and build out an independent agency's Southeast territory. And while I was doing that, came across Russick and Doug, our founders, very early on in the concept phases of this company. And essentially was one of the 6 or 7 people that lived in the house together to get this thing off the ground. So, and also the first person with any insurance experience inside the company. It was a bunch of tech and Wall Street guys. And
well, we're all thankful for it, though, Rob, because let's be honest with you. How often have you worked inside of an organization where basically the kind of the bureaucracy of the company gets in the way of good progress, right? And it's because they don't have that insurance background. It's just not something we do. So, it's refreshing. So thank you. Thank you for actually being an insurance man and
Absolutely.
participating. So it's awesome. And outside of outside of just wanted to dive in though, like what was it about Renegade? Was it Doug? Was it Russick that
I will tell you very early on when I was having those discussions, and I probably had 9 or 10 of those discussions with those individuals. And in the first conversations, when I had those, I quite frankly, I literally told them they're crazy with what they're thinking about doing as far as, where their vision was and what they were looking to do, and the ability to work from home and over a period of time, try and eliminate 95% of the data entry points, which we're working towards at this point. I told them, you're out of your mind, right? And everything that they were talking about as far as the marketplace, the servicing, and what they were looking to do was everything that I ever wanted as an insurance agent, right? And didn't think it was even in the realm of possibility to have it all in one place, right? You might get one thing here, one thing there, but to have it all in one location and one-stop shop it makes it easier for the agents to be able to focus on what they're doing, which is prospect, sell, create relationships, and just go out and focus on what actually makes you money, as opposed to dealing with all the things that tie you down on the backside.
Well, again, the evolution of the insurance industry, generally speaking, has kind of brought us all to here. And Alvin, I'm very interested because your background started like mine with State Farm before you navigated over to AAA. You've been a successful, like Rob, an understatement, but a successful insurance agent for many years now. Number one, tell us a little bit about yourself as far as your path as well, and we're going to get into it in a little bit more depth, but I really want to know, like, how did you end up with us, right? There's so many different options out there. We've got the Gooseheads, we've got the We Insures, we've got the Brightways, all models that you would have found success inside of. You've got the State Farms, a model that you're familiar with. We've got, Allstate Farmers. Any one of these companies, either of you would have found great success in. You're here for a reason, right? And ultimately, your production shows that you made a good choice, right? I don't know anybody. I don't know a State Farm agent that's writing 200K or a AAA agent that's writing 200K a month at this point inside of their platform. It's just not capable. It's not possible, rather. I mean, whether it's the commercial appetite itself that won't allow it, or just the fact that they're not going to be rate competitive in a way that's going to allow you to put on 70 policies and 200K, unless you're writing just non-standard auto everywhere all day long, which is not any of our end games. So if you could tell us kind of State Farm to AAA to where you are now.
Absolutely. Well, how I ended up with State Farm, actually, it was actually not on purpose. I mean, a friend of mine had a person he was dating at the time who had a State Farm agency, and she had individuals working for her who were not really sales oriented, right? Who didn't, have that process out. Because you do me a favor. I was in transition between things, and I said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll take a look at it. Got the life license, got the the P&C license, and then joined her agency. And it's and how it was structured really wasn't built for an individual who would like to go out and get sales. So because I was supposed to go out and generate field sales, but she needed so much help inside that I really stayed in the office, which was actually beneficial for me, which allowed me kind of like to learn the insurance business from at least from a State Farm perspective, but also get familiar and comfortable with handling the customer service questions, handling the appetite questions in terms of like seeing stuff. Oh, I can't buy that. Why can't I buy that? Oh my God, I don't know. And it was 1 month. It was like we literally seemed like we couldn't buy anything because the appetite in the area had changed dramatically. Everything literally seemed like it was getting denied unless you had an 800 credit score. Well, that was going to serve that agent. And so after maybe 8 months or something like doing that, with her, I'd started a different project of my own. And I kind of like basically stepped out of the insurance business, and then I was on a vacation with my family up in New York, and a buddy of mine who actually worked at AAA in Texas kept telling me, "Al, you need to come on board with AAA. The money's this, the money's that. You'll be great. So, the State Farm thing is not for you. Trust me, I can tell you right now." And then I got an email from a marketing email searching for agents from AAA. I said, okay, that must be my message. Go join AAA.
Right. Divine intervention, right?
The divine intervention. So I literally, kind of like just chased down the regional manager's name was Raciel out in Atlanta for the Atlanta area. I just asked him one simple question: what do I do for everything? It's really qualified, right? Are you serious, right? Or is this just an internal offer? He says, I'm serious. It's okay. So then what do you need, right? Quite simple, quite straightforward. Well, do you got your P&C's license? Do you got your P&C? I said, yeah, I got that. But do you have your life license? No, I don't have that. Well, you need that. I said, that's what you need. And then I went about, pursuing that and getting that, within 2 weeks period of time, calling back. Okay, I got what you need. What do you need next, right? And then next thing you know, I'm working for AAA. And it's kind of like cut that, story a little bit shorter. And then ended up being one of, basically, no, not one of, but the number one producer in the Southeast, for AAA.
which is a big deal because AAA's been splashy as of late, right? They've been opening up, regional offices and agency appointments. A lot, Rob and I come from a farmer's background together, actually, and we have quite a few of our contemporaries from those days that are working for AAA, right? Like, Christ, who was Mike? I'm forgetting his name. Anthony Alberton. Great guy, but he and I think Richardson actually is still with AAA as well, isn't he, Rob?
Joe Richardson is now the CEO of the Detroit Motor Club, which is the center of the country, down Georgia,
Joe Richardson,
North Carolina,
absolutely.
Florida.
Yeah. I met him a few times.
Joe Richardson, Ro Katrak is over there, who's been a great mentor in my life.
He was huge for me too, Rob. Just
a phenomenal individual, and they're kind of number two in charge, but. Kevin Murphy was over there until he retired, but you have Dan Schrock. That was a long time.
Oh, get out of here, Schrock! I forgot Schrock's over there too.
30-year farmer's guy.
I met Dan Schrock down in Tampa.
Every name that he's dropping is a very impressive human.
The funny side of that with those individuals too, and it's just when I saw the writing on the wall that they were all leaving Farmers, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to have a real tough time getting anything done at this point if all these guys go. I literally went to Tony Alberton. I was like, take me with you, right? Take me with you. So I get a phone call from Joe and Ro, and they go, sure, we'll gladly have you up, but you got to move to Grand Rapids, Michigan. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'm not working in 40 below zero weather. I said, I'll come. You can fly me in. I said, but there's no way I'm selling my wife on the idea of moving to Grand Rapids, Michigan. It's not even in the realm of
put this in perspective. Rob lives in Charleston, all right? So talk about freaking polar opposite.
That's polar opposite. Polar opposite. I can understand it. Obviously, I'm from Wisconsin, so I understand the cold. But I ain't moving back there, no, brother. You can forget.
Who's your team, Albert? Who's your team if you're a Wisconsin guy? Who are your teams?
Oh man, I didn't really have a team like that.
Get out of here! Come on now.
No, my dad, he didn't like the Green Bay Packers, so I didn't like the Green Bay Packers.
How do you not like Green Bay growing up in Wisconsin? That's like, I'm a Cowboys fan in New Jersey, so I get that part of it. But Jesus Christ.
So cold the TV wouldn't
I'm kind of like I'm no. And football, by the way, football is my sport, right? Yeah. I'm a nomad. Well, actually, it's more my wife's sport than my sport. She watches it like crazy. I mean, God,
and we got a new league starting on Sunday. By the way, I don't know anybody's gonna. I'm gonna tune in, check it out. But we got that new league starting on Sunday too. That should be interesting.
I will say though, Alvin, we have quite a few AAA agents, and whenever I get the opportunity to speak to a AAA agent. Early on in the trying to recruit that individual to come over, AAA guys. I mean, you guys are crushing it, right? Like, and it comes down to the number one thing is training, right? And Liberty Mutual and AAA all train out of that same area down in Lake Mary, Florida. You know what I mean? And they kind of go through the same process. It's been the same process for forever. And every individual, I can really tie it back to the training that comes through. Just really, really good agents. And then you guys having an understanding of 8 to 10 different carriers when you come over, right? Which really makes it a seamless process. So you have the good training, you have the good protocol in place. And then when those individuals like yourself come over, I mean, you hit the ground running. I mean, it's just fantastic to see.
Yeah, right.
Well, and it's plug and play, right? I mean, that really is what we're designed to do here. And it's really nice to see agents like Alvin find this type of success because that's really what this is by design. It's designed to plug and play, to find that individual, that exceptional individual, and put them in a system that allows them to do what they've been almost handcuffed to this point on, right? All that business is, it's just wide open, right? The marketplace itself. And along those lines, AAA, State Farm, Marketplace, we got a lot going on. We've got different entry points, different than it's ever, the landscape's totally changed, right? We've got, our traditional captive model, right? The State Farms, the Farmers, the AAAs, all that going on. We've got now franchise models, and they're popping up right and left, right? Forget just a Goosehead, Brightway, and We Insure. You reverse 3 years, those were the only names in franchise, right? No one else really even existed or anybody that you've heard of. But then you've got to throw the aggregators in there as well and what they're doing. And now we've got direct market insurers, right? So, the companies, which at a at one point in my career, I really thought, especially this has got to be going back early 2000s, Geico, and Rob, you'll probably remember this when Geico re-entered the state of New Jersey. Scared the crap out of all of us, right? We're all thinking, and it came to fruition. I believe they do have #1 market share in auto in the state of New Jersey now. So it did happen, what we were all afraid of at the time. It didn't hurt us as bad as we did. But when Geico re-entered that market, it scared the heck out of us. But again, you've got all these different entry points. You've got this direct market opportunity. You've got companies like Lemonade and whoever else that are offering, basically similar to kind of our offering, right? It's an advanced kind of more interactive experience, but it's without the agent, without the kind of the fiduciary, which I think is a bad play, no matter how you cut it. Any of these companies that are going to try to cut guys like us out, number one, it's not going to save you on price as the consumer. You're not saving any money by not having an agent. You just don't have an agent anymore. So I'm just throwing it back at you guys. Who's winning, right? Who's winning right now? I feel like we're winning. I feel like the space that we're in right now, there's positives and there's negatives everywhere. But I mean, if you asked me selfishly, of course I'm going to say it. But at the same time, to Rob's point before, I've been looking for Renegade for the better part of my career. I've been from the days when I was flipping carbon copy at State Farm, looking at my father going, I got a cute computer in front of me and I'm flipping carbon copy. What are we doing here? Like, is this for real? Right. So, the evolution has brought us all here. I feel like the things that are going to make us win are going to be, it's not just the tech, right? I feel like the tech is a crutch at a level, or it's a means to an end. It allows us as agents to be more client facing, but where are your winners and your losers right now? If you guys had to call balls and strikes, is State Farm winning the marketing game, or is it Progressive and Geico? Whose messaging is winning the battle right now? Why are people gravitating to you, Alvin, as opposed to the State Farm agent? What do you feel like? Where's our advantage?
Okay. Well, you know what? It's funny you say it because I really hadn't thought of it from that 50,000-foot view. Is Geico winning? Are we winning, or is the independent agent winning or losing? I hadn't really, put heavy thought on that, and that's and the reason why, because I thought about that originally when I was at AAA when Root entered our market. Oh my God, how is this going to affect us? Man, they got this this process. They can get on the app, get their insurance, competitive rating, and this usage-based model. It never impacted. It's just right. Because the truth was I was still an agent that was going out and looking for the business to get, right. It wasn't because even though people say, well, you at AAA, the phone calls. I'll be honest with you, my business didn't come from people calling in to AAA or walking into the office. Matter of fact, most of the people I met didn't even know AAA. Even the members didn't even know AAA offered auto insurance.
That's
right?
mind-blowing to me, by the way, that AAA members don't even know auto insurance. Like, how bad is your messaging got to be for your own base not to know that you sell insurance?
Right. And now that might not be as true now because there had been a big push to educate in that direction. But kind of that central theme about, like, say, Root, for example, as insurance or Geico being a competitor. The fact is, fellows, there's always going to be somebody competing with you, right? If the money is there, it's clearly big enough money because these companies are big. So someone's going to enter in, whether it be the new startups like, there's a kind of a hybrid model of the captive agent was really not captive. You just have an agent who can
Which you're seeing Liberty Mutual do. You're seeing Farmers has been doing it for years. Allstate started to do it a little bit. I don't know if State Farm ever will, but you're absolutely right. Everybody's trying to find that hybrid, that sweet spot.
And speaking of State Farm too, just to jump in there, State Farm is going to be the last of the dinosaurs, right, guys? They're the biggest player in the game. But they will be the last of the dinosaurs. And when you look at it, we don't have dinosaurs anymore, right? They've been extinct for how many millions of years? So if they don't change with the evolution of technology and the independent models that are going on, they're going to be a dinosaur. You see the companies that are scrambling, like Farmers, like Allstate, Nationwide a couple of years ago, literally went true independent, right? So when you look at it, can we definitively say who's winning at this point? I don't know, but we can definitely say who's losing, and that's the captives, right? So when you look at the captives, they are bleeding tooth and nail. Farmers hasn't been profitable in 8 years since Zurich bought them. 8 years. They've never put a profit on the board.
Wow.
Okay. 8 years.
Yeah.
Even with agents writing a ton of business because of losses. You're not in this game to lose money, right? So when you really break it down, now they're experiencing rate increases that are absolutely just crushing their agents. Allstate last year laid off 3,900 employees, right? Which scares the heck out of the agents. And then the other thing is you look at Allstate, you have agents that are invested in for 15, 20 years, spending all this money on an office, employees, and everything else. And then they pay us 15% and they pay their own guys 8%. Now, isn't that a kick? Right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm
no sense.
Hot angry if I'm getting 8% as an Allstate agent right now. Hot angry. Well, and it's funny too, Rob, that you say it too, because from a messaging standpoint, like the captives are doing all this messaging, right? All this messaging, and I would say that maybe that's where they're winning. If I had to pick one area, it's that national branding, that marketplace. Not the marketplace, but that national branding is where they'd be winning. But at the same time, like, what exactly is it doing for them? Because, go ahead.
To look at the national branding, though, they're national powerhouses. You can't watch a single network television show without seeing some sort of insurance commercial, right? Now, what does that do these days? Does it do what it did years ago? Force the individual to pick up the phone and call and get a quote? Or does it force them to the internet? And when it forces them to the internet, companies like ours with our optimization, of the internet, literally can put ourselves at the forefront to be able to capture that business without having to pay for the marketing, right? So when 100%. You look at it from that perspective, they're stirring up the market with their commercials. They're forcing people to go out there and look for insurance. And then you have insurance advisors, which is what we are, right? Because we have the capability to not square peg round hole it with a single product. We're not insurance agents. We're advisors. Not saying captive agents aren't advisors. They're just, they only have one arrow in the queue. That's it.
Well, and really, they are a pawn for the company. And I say that in the most respectful way possible. My father's a 50-year active State Farm agent. I'm not trying to bust chops, but at the same time, he's really just a pawn to State Farm at a level where, like you said, we have the ability to be that true fiduciary.
Yeah.
And our technology, to your point too, enables us in a different way. The consumer, and that is why I say winners versus losers, right? Because initially I say marketplace, right? But Rob, the way you twist it back around, it's almost like it's a weakness because that is the only way that they're driving it. And the truth is, they're driving it actually right to us. Right? Because we own this space now. They don't own this space.
Yeah.
Interesting.
They're literally pushing the market to the internet, and then companies that are technically savvy like ours can capture that information, right? And we capture that with the agents that we recruit and bring over. And I can tell you firsthand, I mean, I've been here since before we had a single agent. So the quality of agent has really changed, from our perspective and what we have the capability to talk to as we grow as a company, right? Now in 7 states, by the end of the year, 17 states, and then ultimately, hopefully by the end of next year, beginning of the year thereafter, all 50 states with agents representing Renegade Insurance, right?
But what we're not going to do, and I think this is important because this is something I just feel like, we have the ability to insulate our agents in a way that nobody else has. And Alvin, you'll appreciate this because this is something that I believe in. I've always believed in it. I didn't like it when I was with State Farm. I hated it when I was with Farmers. And I love that we're not going to follow suit and put an agent on every corner, right? Just put an agent on every corner. And who even knows who that guy is or that gal is? Are they even capable? Are they capable of being a true fiduciary and doing the right thing for their client? Because that is our charge, right? As much as it is to make money, I get it. We're charged also with doing the right thing. And at the end of the day, you can't put an agent on every corner because you can't support them. You can't support them. So, Alvin, when you first came to Renegade, or when you first started talking to Nate about the opportunity, and we were talking technology, right? We came heavy with a lot of what we're circling around right now. What was your, and it could be negative, I'm fine with it. What was your original gut feeling, right? Because technology is usually associated with crappy rollouts, right? So outside of like, oh Christ, this is going to be a crappy rollout company.
Actually, Yeah, Nate, the development team wasn't my first contact. It was actually another AAA agent who, at the time, I was getting ready to leave AAA because this goes around. We talk about the agents. We get a little jitty when we don't understand payment structure. We think we can't write business. We go, okay, where do I need to go to continue being successful in the space? And that's what was happening over AAA because it's captive. Now, fortunately, in the market I was in, I could have written Travelers or whatever, but if you were a Texas agent, you couldn't do that. You only had, the AAA branded products. And that's one of the new agents who has joined us. I know that for a fact. But so I literally thought I was getting ready to, kind of leave this business behind, right? To be honest with you, right? And
Interesting.
then, one in the agency who was joining, who had just, I think maybe she had just signed on. She said, "Help, you know what? You would be great at this. You would be great. I'm speaking to this guy over here at Renegade." I said, "Renegade what?" Right?
Yeah.
What? It wasn't Renegade. It was Sage, right?
Yeah, it's covered by
What?
Sage. Sure.
Right? And then so Nate, set up a call with me with Levine, on the call. I was a AAA agent, recommended her. I was pretty straightforward. I said, "Nate," I said, "Okay, great." I said, "Nate, look here. I don't really care what your platform does. What I really want to know, can I make money?" That's all. So let's talk the numbers, and we'll figure out the technology, right? If the technology makes sense, because I dealt with crappy technology, before, and I figured out how to make a way through it. But if I couldn't
As a
figure
good
out the
agent always
math,
does, Alvin.
right,
Rob, you say that all the time. A
right,
good agent works around
right.
obstacles. Sorry,
Right.
go
So if
ahead.
I couldn't figure out the math, what was going to be the point, right? And so the math made sense to me, right? So and that was it. I was doing something at the time anyway. Else, it's okay. So, the risk doesn't seem too high. I mean, it wasn't really any risk at all.
At all, right? And
To be
you're
honest with
lucky,
you.
by the way,
Right.
right? You came in
Right.
like in
Right.
perfect timing, right?
Woo! I was like, yes, this is Nora. I said, what? And granted, it actually was something there, but you guys wanted to, basically encourage the experienced agents to come over, so you made a little modification to the requirement. I said, great, I'll take that. I'll be stupid not to, right? We'll figure this out. Now, then of course, and then I have to, again, learn the platform. Obviously it's changed since this point. You got some better things, no question about that, in terms of how we, enter the data,
Onboard you,
how
right?
we, go through the quote system like that. So onboard you and stuff like that. So onboarding it wasn't as formal as it is as we do, as I found out that you have now, right?
Yes, no, the
Going on.
cohort training
So
that we're
yeah,
doing
so
is
that's
quite
how
impressive.
yeah. Yeah, right. So I was like, man, I didn't have that. What's that about, right? Huh? I was like, cohort training, right? It's like, here we go. Here's the platform. Okay, I got a couple onboarded folks kind of walking me through the platform, and then I was kind of figuring out a little bit, as I went, right? But I guess that's part of anything. Any place that's growing is new. Is we got you get what you need to get first, and figure out the rest.
Yeah, you got to crawl before you walk, right? And with a company like ours, with the amount of technology that we're giving our agents, there's going to be there are going to be hiccups here and there, of course. Well, and how much? Listen, you wrote $202,000 in March, and I think at the end of the day, all this conversation, everything's happy, but in truth, it's about the money. Yeah. How did you make $202,000? In premium, how'd you bring in $202,000? Were you utilizing our technology? Are you just that much of a baller? Where's it coming from? Did our platform enable you?
Absolutely, it's both. You can't. I don't think you can have one without the other. If I could sell $200,000, have the potential, but the technology prevents me from selling anything, what's the point, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if you got the technology, but you still can't. How the model was built, the agent is still the end point of, as I like to say, getting that Visa, MasterCard, or that diamond-studded American Express, right? Right. Then you got to have both, right? So the how is for me is really pretty simple. And I think Danny actually touched upon it in some of our celebration meetings. First of all, you got to be willing to work, right? So the 200,000 in premium didn't come without a lot of work, right?
Right.
Yeah. I'm really literally probably starting my day, somewhere between that 6 and 7, if I'm lucky, no later than 8, right? and I'm trying to grind it throughout the day. Is that all selling? No, it doesn't necessarily have to be all selling. It could be planning, it could be thinking, in those moments of lulls, or practice, right? I'm practicing something. And that's, something we'll talk about, for sure. So, and then I might be ending my day like 9 p.m. And that's not 9 p.m. of selling. That's 9 p.m. It's like, okay, 4 to 5, 5 to 6, I'm doing some customer service stuff, right? So people don't drop off the books, right? They don't drop off, so they can refer me, hey, this guy's available for me, right? And then that between that 5 and 9, I'm literally kind of going over what I did today. What was my roadblocks? What was I successful at? And as far as roadblocks, what's the possible solution to that roadblock, right? And that might be something directly with me. That might be something directly with Renegade. That, hey, and I'm getting on the phone with somebody, or getting on the chat with somebody that can help me solve that. And that's another thing you guys do very, very well. I've actually talked to someone at 11 p.m. No, as late as 2 a.m. in the morning, because they different time zones over in India. All right, about something I needed to get happen, right? So now I'm not dealing with it during the sales day. I mean, that's freaking incredible.
I mean, talk to an agent that's gotten someone from their company
people
on the phone at 2 a.m.
Right.
Never.
I don't know anybody.
Right.
I don't
Never.
know. It
Never.
does not happen, right? Right? Yeah, right. So, right. So what I said, I've actually taken a call from a client at 2 a.m. Right? Because I'm that, that kind of person. I want to, and this is real talk. This is all serious. Saturday, right? This past Saturday, I get a call from a client. I had placed her with Encompass, right? And they were quite a distance from their home. They were thinking, took their daughter to go to school. The car died, right? So she calls me up. I said, well, yeah, you have roadside service, blah, blah, blah. So they call it roadside service. Well, it wasn't a battery jump. They thought it might have been a battery jump. Thought it might have been a key fob. It was neither of those. The car actually had some mechanical issues, right? She calls me up and asks me what to do. I said, well, you got towing, but I don't know if what they cover is going to be enough to get you that distance, right?
Right.
So I said, of course, I come from AAA. Do you have AAA or something like that? She said, no, I don't have AAA, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, we'll call them, et cetera. And they couldn't come out that day, to do it, so it was the next day. But she took an Uber back. I think it was like 80 miles. I'll be honest with you, literally, Uber back, right? Crazy. So she called me up, that Sunday. So this is what I'm telling about availability. I'm available. That Sunday, she calls me up. As a matter of fact, I told her, I said, I don't care if it's Sunday, just give me a call. She called me up Sunday morning, literally. Hey, Al, you know what? You text me, or she texted me first. Is there a way you can help me, because I got to get back out there? I'll be honest with you, I don't really have that funds to get back out there and then pay the $300 bucks they want to tell me. Is there anything we can do? Can I get a rent-a-car, et cetera? So, well, fortunately, your insurance doesn't trigger a rent-a-car for a mechanical issue, right? I said, well, where you at? I'll come get you, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I looked at the distance. I said, well, okay, for me to go get her, she's a little east of Atlanta, west of Atlanta. So I knew it was going to take me about 45 minutes. She was out in the sticks, right? Drive back up another, like I said, like 60-some miles, right? So I took her up there, right? And we sat around waiting on the tow truck to come for literally about 5 hours. Never showed, by the way. Got canceled. So I said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We'll get AAA back on the phone. And, fortunately, they allowed, basically, because with AAA, you have to be there typically for them to do a drop-off. They allowed us to do a drop-off. So that Monday, she got a call back, right? And she said, oh, my God, you've been a blessing. And then from there, she sent me like,
what do you think? You drove 4 Yeah, you're a blessing. You freaking
so
drove to the sticks to pick her up.
You know what I'm going to say? I literally started at 8. I didn't get back home to 10, man.
Oh,
wow. But here's the thing. That woman will never leave you. Ever. And if she does, you should find her and you should say bad things to her. I'm being gentle with my words right now. If she ever leaves your office, everybody find her. That's one of those you love something, set it free.
Absolutely. But I've done that before, though, right? But I've done that before, though, when I was at AAA. See, it wasn't for me. It's simply, now, honestly, I can't do that for 100 folks in my email list. I mean, I just doesn't have that many toes available, right, that I can use it for, right? But for me, it was setting the bar for me mentally. What am I willing to commit to do to win, right? So that, to me, that's a connection to that 202,000 you asked me about, to the 70 policies you asked me about. What am I willing to do? Now, I don't, it doesn't go to that extent, but you have to figure out, let's call it, we got to figure out what is your nut that you're willing to do, right? What price are you willing to pay? And for me, hey, look, I'm willing to pay that price. Now, if you're a significant other, you're married, somebody, they don't want you to pay that price, well, okay, you have to adjust that to that thing, right? But, my spouse knows me. We're willing to pay that price to get to what we're trying to do. It isn't simply about me writing the 202,000. I'll be honest with you. If you look at what I wrote today, I wrote, I want to try to do $1 million in premium a month, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and I got a whiteboard back here, it's knowing what the level of effort is, right? What is the level of effort, for me to do what I need to do to get where I need to go? And sometimes it might be that, right?
Well, I mean, nothing for nothing. Just the fact that you have such a hefty goal is amazing, because you're not going to meet it if you don't kind of articulate it first, right? You got to know what that end game is. But for me, the 70 policies is kind of the biggest one there. Shows how hard you're working, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all kind of step in it every once in a while and get that big premium, whether it's because of a relationship we forged or whatever else. But that 70 number is the one that stands out to me because, if you're looking at it in terms of a 5-day work week, with obviously you're working 7 days a week, you're taxiing freaking clients around on Sundays. But if you're looking at it in terms of 20 days, that's 3 policies a day, every day, 3+ policies a day, 3.5 policies a day, every single day. That's consistency, and ultimately a consistency that I just don't think it's. I mean, for a single human, for one individual, who's writing 70 policies right now on anybody's paper in the captive channel, right? Independent channel, it's a different story, right? We all have a marketplace at a level. Granted, our commercial marketplace is more expansive, but who's writing 70 in the captive channel? Nobody's writing 70 as an individual in the captive channel right now. Nobody's writing 200K. And inside of that, are you looking at, is that a mix of commercial? Is it commercial and personal?
No, it was all personal. It was all personal, right? All personal. Not one. I'm just trying to think about it, written a small little, personal liability policy, commercial policy. No,
right.
It's all personal.
So that's all personal inside of that 200.
Right?
Wow. That's a big month.
Right. Yeah.
All in the state of Georgia as well, Alvin. Because I could be honest with you, when I saw the
no, that was all. That was all the state of Georgia.
Yeah, when I see numbers like that from our agents, it always makes me want to go back and be an agent, right? Like, kind of get that fire fueled up, and it's like, man, I want to jump back in this game. With the premium sizes, with the money that you can make in the industry, it's exciting to see. From that standpoint, I know how hard it is to get to that figure. So. A great accomplishment.
Yeah. Truly impressive. So let's lighten this up a little bit because we're almost done here. We're not going to stretch this out too long today. The three of us, I think we've spent quite a bit of time talking about kind of where we feel this ship is going. What I want you to do, Alvin, is I want you to tell tell anybody listening about your as a fiduciary, your best moment taking a claim. As far as I think I sent you an email saying, "Hey, be prepared. You don't have to do it, but since you're the only agent that showed up today, you're going to have to tell me a funny claim experience. I want to hear something unique to your office. If you'd like, I can go first while you're thinking about it.
Yeah, go first so I can get a sense of what that means. Yeah.
All right, so. We are, as fiduciaries, it's the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? You have your good moments, your bad moments, your ugly moments. Sometimes those claims experiences are shining lights for us, right? It's an opportunity for us to show who we are. It's our opportunity to drive 4 hours and pick a stranded client up and get them where they're going. And then other times it's an opportunity to reflect on how you might approach something differently. And then there's times where we just laugh. I took a call, and I probably shouldn't have laughed, but I took a call many years ago from a gentleman who had to report a claim for his wife. And his wife had ran herself over and broken both of her own legs with her own car. And I, for the life of me, couldn't wrap my hands around that one. How do you break your own legs with your own car? So I needed to know, right? Like normally you're just taking that claim. You're like, oh my God, sir, I'm so sorry. I hope your wife is okay. Oh, geez. And you're recording that claim normal. So this guy tells me his wife breaks her legs. And I got to find out. So I'm, well, sir, can you please, normally you wouldn't do this. You leave it for the claim rep. You report the claim and, oh God, okay, move on. Sir, how did this happen? If you could describe the nature of the loss. I go into it. So apparently their driveway is on a slant, and his wife is in a manual. So she pulls up and she does not pull the e-brake, hops out of the car because she's in a rush to go get something she forgot. As she goes to jump out of her car in a rush, she trips, falls down. Both of her legs end up under the car that does not have an e-brake pulled. It runs over both of her legs, breaks both of her legs, and then flies down the driveway and T-bones a car going by. So not only total loss of 2 vehicles and 2 broken legs, I literally had to put the dude on hold because I was laughing. I couldn't believe anybody. I mean, it's just a terrible thing of me to do, but I put him on hold. I said, excuse me, sir, I have to just put you on hold for 1 second. Put him on hold, laughed for a solid 3 minutes before I picked the phone back up. I was like, so sorry, sir. Anything that we can do for your wife. Now, I've also had clients wake up in the middle of a Macy's. How about that? An older client doesn't remember what happened. She just remembers waking up at the Macy's counter, the makeup counter in Macy's, behind the wheel of her car.
You're dating yourself there, Danny. Is there even a Macy's available anymore?
I don't know. Wow. I guess I've been doing this too long, but that was another good one. I had a client die. We had a client die in the hallway, and then his pacemaker bring him back to life. You've been doing this long enough, you get it all. So
I will tell you, I had a pretty crazy lady that used to come into one of my offices, and I would run out the back door after the first experience with her because she would come in and she would come into the office and she would just point. I had a 55-inch TV on the wall, and she would point at the TV and start yelling at the TV because she broke every TV in her house and wanted us to pay the claim for it because aliens were coming out of the TV. And then
please don't tell me that's true.
She would come into my office and start screaming at the TV because aliens were coming out of the TV. And I'm like,
that's amazing.
Absolutely insane.
That's amazing.
At the top of her lungs, and we're like, man, we had to calm her down. We're like, there's nothing coming out of the TV. You should probably stop breaking your TVs or stop watching. I don't know, man. Like crazy people.
See, I wish she had broken your TV. It would have made me so happy to know that she just came in and like brought a sledgehammer to your TV in the office.
Oh my God.
I'm protecting you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
From the alien invasion.
Nothing like that.
She came in one time, not just the TVs, but she was saying like that she had cracks in the ceiling. And it was because like people were trying to break into her house from the ceiling. You know what I mean? It's like she was just out there. She was way out there. So I eventually started like when I would see her coming in the parking lot, I would run out the back door and leave it with Sue, who was my office manager.
Poor Sue, you left poor Sue with that woman.
Sue would be screaming at me. She's like, "You son of a."
Rob, you're reminding me of we had another client, and Alvin, I'll let you go, but we had another client called we nicknamed him the Feces Phantom. And you know where this one's going. This guy came up to our office. Now, mind you, this isn't. My father has always been a big fan of keeping his office basic, right? He early on in his career learned that you park a Porsche out in front of your office, your clients are pissed off about it, right? So you drive your beater to work. You're just one of the guys cutting a living like everybody else, no matter how successful you are. So the office at this point in time, it was more like kind of I used to say it's a lot like a auto repair facility. No bones, right? You're coming in, 1 million people there to help you. Crack team, right? You couldn't get better service, but no frills. So this dude comes up into the office to make his payment. Again, I'm dating myself because this is not an elderly person, a normal person actually making a payment in an office. So he comes up, but he decides to go to the bathroom first before he comes into the office. Comes in, makes a payment with his check, and he gives it to a woman in my office at the time, Christy, love her. She's afraid of everything, right? She won't eat any vegetables. Like if there's a pickle, I remember a pickle rolling at her one day on the table in the lunchroom, and she screamed because there was a pickle rolling at her, right? So the worst person this could possibly happen to ever. So I hear screaming bloody murder after this guy leaves. I'm like, oh my God, we all hop up. Like, what the hell's going on? We have panic buttons. We're in Jersey, right? So everybody's got a panic button on their desk for when the crazy person comes in trying to shoot the place up. So I hear her screaming. I get up from my desk. I run in, what's going on? And she's holding a check up like this. Get it away from me. Get it away from me. Well, there was feces all over that check. There was feces all over the floor, a full path of feces from our bathroom down the hallway, all the way in. We had to call Bank of America and let them, not call. When we went in to make the deposit that morning, it was in a Ziploc bag. We had to explain to them, there's shit all over the check. Okay? So don't touch it. There's shit all over the check, right? He sat down.
Oh my God.
Sat down in
But
one
you
of our
took the
office
check.
chairs
But
and shit on the
you
chair.
took the check.
Yeah, we took a check. Freaking
You ever
feces
think to
phantom.
just put the routing and account number?
Oh my
in,
God!
and void that thing?
I had to call my dad. I called my dad up. I'm like, Dad, you got no idea. Feces Phantom. He just bombed the whole office out. Bombed the whole office out, Pop. I'm yelling. Oh my God! My dad. Who? Tell me who this is. He calls up. You shit in my office. He's yelling at him. I'm like, oh my God! I can't believe this happened.
Alvin, this is New Jersey. Danny and I are both from New Jersey, so this is what goes on in New Jersey.
I mean, this is a day in the life of an insurance agent in New Jersey.
Hey, look. I am not moving to freaking New Jersey. You hear me? I'm not moving to Jersey.
Everything
That's
you see
not
on
happening.
TV, all those shows
all
on
true.
New Jersey and
It's all
TV, just
true.
know they're edited. Okay,
Yeah.
we'll give you the unedited version.
Yeah, we're on it.
So there's a version worse than that. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I've had a similar story in my office as well, Danny. So someone came in to pay a bill, and literally they would, every time they would come in, they would clog up the bathroom, and literally there would be water pouring out, and they would come out squishing with their sneakers wet. Like, stop! Like, we eventually had to stop letting them use the bathroom. I'm like,
Absolutely.
"What are you doing? Like, are you shoving a whole thing of toilet paper in my toilet? Like, come on, guys!"
Oh my God.
It's
Oh my
crazy.
God. Would you ever?
Okay. So,
Personally, I crap my
all
pants.
you
I'm going
told
home.
me,
Sorry, Albert. Go ahead.
Danny and Rob, all you told me, I better appreciate the freaking internet. I can do this thing remote. That's all you told me.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
am not. That's what you told me. That's what I heard.
Phenomenal transition, Alvin. As a renegade agent, you'll never have to deal with the feces phantom or anybody squashing wet sneakers
All
in
right,
your bathroom.
I ain't doing it.
All right, never gonna happen. Never gonna happen.
Doing it. Hey, look, I'm telling you, that policy would have lapsed, bro.
Oh yeah, that's the best part. I mean, the dude had like a beater, single car auto. We made it cost us more to clean the freaking carpets than it did than we earned on his
I'm
premium.
checking out. You got to go. I'm no longer your agent no more.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Right.
They call
But,
it a 4521 at State Farm.
Right. But since you mentioned that, I mean, what I like about the business, honestly, man, I have a unique ability to choose who I want to work with. Now, I'll be honest with you, I did that at AAA, right? I mean, I literally, I have Alvin has a threshold. I'm a nice guy, but I have a threshold. I will tell you, I'm not your agent to work with, unfortunately, right? I know because I know what I will do for you, right? To make sure you're protected. Talking about the fiduciary, I know what I will do for you. What I'll do if I have the capability to do it, I will drive that 80 miles to help you out. So if it's a non-alignment, I will admit there's not an alignment between me and you. Right? I will find you another agent. In the AAA, I will find him another agent. Well, let you go find you another agent. I am not because there's too many people that want my help, that need my help, that will probably call me at a weird hour at a time that in that need, right? That I want to be available for. So I got that 80-20 rule to flip 20% of the problem. 80% of people probably are not for your business. Because if you look at it, it's that 20% who are bringing, not only have good policies with you, they're not claim happy, they don't need a lot of touches, but they're bringing you tons of referrals. So I'm very clear on what that is for me. Maybe get rid of that.
And I will tell you, Alvin, too, is the majority of top agents that I've talked to across this country, right? And I've been lucky enough in my career to meet a ton of them like yourself. And have those discussions. They all have stories like that, right? Where they've gone above and beyond. We all know it's not a 9-to-5 job. You know what I mean? We used to do similar things in our office as well, especially Hurricane Sandy was a big learning point for us, right?
Big time.
Literally for 6 weeks, we did free consulting for people. And I never had a complete loss in this industry until Hurricane Sandy came up and hit the state of New Jersey. But in that very first day, we experienced multiple complete, lost everything, like houses off the slab, gone, everything gone.
I don't know what that feels
One of the houses took the wife out to sea with it, right? So you don't even have your wife. You know what I mean? One of them had an individual where the woman was on basic life support because she had Lou Gehrig's disease, right? And really, you know what I mean, was wanted to pass in her house, and then the power went out, and her husband watched her literally. You know, the house went out to sea. He got out, went out to sea with his wife, right? So we do things as agents, okay? If we're the right type of agent, which you are, Alvin and Danny, and we have a number of great agents here at Renegade, you know what I mean, that go above and beyond in what we do, right? And that's really where you separate yourself from everybody else, right? That goes out there and compares that apples to apples coverage, that compares, you know, that doesn't do their job and explaining
right.
and giving that individual a firm understanding of the coverage that they need in place, you know, and every top agent that I've ever talked to, it's not about apples to apples. It really doesn't break down to price. It's about, here's an explanation, right? And the willingness, as you just said, the willingness to walk away from the deal because it's not right for you, right? Because you want to do the right thing for that individual, and they're just not thinking clearly to make the right decision for themselves, right? So you have to be willing to essentially fire the client, right? Yeah,
that's right. That's why I literally tell everybody, when we get into, let's say, a price, I'll be honest with you. I've never had this experience where someone calls me about $5, a difference between $5 and their policy, but they all call me about, am I covered, right? Do I cover this? Does it have this? And I want to be able, and this is literally my close or my rebuttals to that. I go, I want to make sure that I can say yes to you, right? You have this, I have that, because I thought I had, for you, in spite of you thinking about the budget. We all have a budget. It's not the first time you've been over budget. So, but if it happens, it could literally happen tomorrow. I don't know, right? But I want to be able to say yes to you. If I say no to you, it's because you said no, right? On a price, right? You said no, and that's how we are when we are.
Yeah, and we struggled with that greatly, actually. Rob, were you writing in Jersey when it was take all comers still?
Yeah.
So that was a tough one for us, Alvin. So Jersey, imagine this. There was a time frame for a long time, actually, many years, where we were a take all comer state. And I really don't like state required minimums. And New Jersey has some of the lowest in the country.
You could turn them down, right?
Yeah, 1535, right? So 1535. If I'm writing 1535, I know that I'm not covering. I'm not worried about the jerk that takes the 1535. I'm worried about the person I don't insure that they hit. So how about that, right? Like I'm now thinking about, wait, what happens if now the guy that I am supposed to be advising has an accident with someone else? Mm-hmm. What happens then? Because that's on my conscience too. So when New Jersey got rid of take all comers, man, It was a breath of fresh air, because when you wanted 1535, I'd say to you, that's fine. I just can't write that for you. You have to go to a different agency. You're not protecting yourself or anybody whom you might be involved with. So I just can't in good conscience do it. But best of luck. And I try to advise them and upsell them into 50, 150, which would really be as low as I ever was willing to go. But take all comers. It made it really hard to say no. But thankfully, I want to say maybe like 2008, 9, somewhere around there, Jersey got rid of it. And it was a big deal for us here, because you didn't have to write that non-standard, basically, individual. No, interesting. Anyway,
yeah, and that becomes your bulk. Your book, you got a problem, right?
It is. Yeah, you're chasing premium.
I guess that's. I understand that, right? Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I don't write. Even Georgia state standard. I don't write. I don't write. And although we have what's only required in Georgia is that you have the liability, the minimum state liability. You don't have underinsured motorists. You don't have collision. None of this stuff is required. I just don't write it, man. Because I know who they're going to call. They're not going to call, right? Safeco. They're not going to call Liberty Mutual. They're not going to call me, right? And I'm too busy trying to find the next individual that I need to bring to my business versus handling, all the calls about, what I don't have, you told me you didn't want it. So I don't write the business. I mean,
Yep.
I just don't. Right?
Well, you're smarter
Right.
for it. Again, you don't want it. It's not referring you anything. And ultimately, and correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it never refers you anything.
It never refers you anything. And correct me if I'm wrong too, though. And I'm just going to spin it right back to Renegade because that's what we do. I want to do it. Have you found that working with us as an agent that you are free to be client facing more than you've ever been in your career? Do you have the opportunity to be in that client facing role more, or is it the same? And it's okay. You don't have to pad Rob and I's ego, but
so
that's
when
one
you
of the
say,
reasons why I like it.
define a little bit what you mean by client facing.
Well, what we've tried to do with this platform is enable our agents to stay inside of the sale. Right. Everything that we're doing, whether it's the automation that's allowing the information to gather to occur with a little bit more ease, or what any of the processes that we've done, the fact that we've taken brick and mortar out of the equation, certainly to each their own. You want to open up an office, do it, but the fact that you're not required to, and then ultimately manage that responsibility and the employees inside of it. Have you found that you are able to be having that client conversation?
That's easy to answer. That's easy to answer. The answer is yes. It's not just a yes. It's a yes with an exclamation point.
With an exclamation point. That's what I wanted to hear. That's wonderful.
Right. Because this two things, right? The technology helps you with the speed, right, that you need in this environment, right? To quote, right? If you got a legacy system, or a system that is kind of clunky, you're gonna
Easy
lose.
Links or Turburator.
You're gonna Right, you're gonna lose the good customers because they're doing the same thing as the guy who wants to just eliminate liability. They're searching on the web for that thing, and who is the first to get to them. And of course, once you get to them, by that time they're probably beat up by 10 of people who've already try to pound their phones and they're no longer answering. So speed is one thing, right? The other thing is, right, if because I can work remotely, right? I can literally be anywhere. I know this for a fact because I was looking for a school down in Texas for my daughter to go to, and my phone is ringing. I just pop up my laptop and we're at the house. We're binding it the policy, but I still can do that. I can do that because the platform laws is that if you were a State Farm agent, you probably can't do that because you got to have their system. You got to have all this, or if the agency owner doesn't grant you credentials to do it. I mean, you can't earn your money. When you're not on vacation, you're just traveling, or you got something, or maybe you're on vacation, you still want to earn your money, right? So that's there too, and the ability to avoid going back and forth to an office where you lose an hour or two. Maybe you cut out because you worried about
traffic or whatever.
The traffic. Literally, you cut out. So okay, now I gotta get home. So guess what? I gotta be out of here by 4:00. And then between that 4 and 5, there was three to five potential powerful sales that you couldn't get to because you had in your mind leave and go. And for those who talk about work-life balance, I don't really know what that means. But if you had defined it, I need to be at home because I have a child to take care of. I got to be. I mean, all that is doable no matter what, right? That environment is right. And even if you had to segue into the space part time, right?
Yeah, no, 100%
is there, right?
100%.
So
well, and that's why we're excited about the future. We really feel like gentlemen, like yourself are going to, man. Because I'm seeing 200 from you. That's good. That's your benchmark now, right? You know that you can do it. So that's your benchmark. And the fact that you can achieve that is remarkable. So, well, gentlemen, we're at an hour. I can't believe we actually just went a full hour. Next podcast, guys. It's every other Thursday. We are the 28th of April is going to be our next podcast. We'll have some special guests that I will announce and post on my LinkedIn. But thank you, Alvin, Rob, Alvin. Again, super impressed with your March production, just generally. I mean, you were asked to come on the show before I even knew that you had a 200K month because of your previous months and what you've been doing. So we really thank you for everything you're doing with us, and best of luck. Talk to you guys both soon.
Sounds good.
I appreciate you guys a lot as well.
Take care, guys.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thanks, Alvin.